Hi y'all, welcome to the first episode of the Major Hunter Endeavors, featuring everyone's favorite explosive-obsessed punchy lady, Bishop. Whenever life gives you a problem, punch it in the face. Whenever you see someone you really don't like, blow them up. And whenever your mom tells you she really wants to talk to you, go and talk to her. Spend some time with your mom, you fuck. Bishop well, fuck. Bishop can fill any role. I really picked the most malleable character for my first fucking video, didn't I? Not only does Bishop work as a frontline bruiser, an engage tank, a DPS carry, a dom, a duelist, a very aggressive tree hugger, but she also is just, well, she's just fun as hell.
If you want to punch, I will pick you up and run out of town.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
So, Bishop, Rocket Jumper, or RJ, whatever you call her. What makes her tick? What makes her special in the roster? Well, a little bit of history first. Bishop used to be a dude, then she had blue hair, then she wrote a giant fist in the Jesus pose.
Jesus wants a hug!
Bishop's kit is one of the most explosive, dynamic, balls to the fucking wall kit in the game. She can go from out-trading you at range in one moment to being up in your face, cape on in full swing, ready to slam you against the wall, and she can use her environment really well to demolish people stupid enough to stand near walls. Her kit excels at both keeping the enemies at a distance and getting in to fuck them up at close range. When someone may first look at her, they may think, oh, she's just a copy of the pink-haired cupcake eater from League, but she is way more than just that. Where Vi is entirely melee focused and relies on her ability to isolate a single target and remove their agency, Bishop wants to spread the love, being able to dismantle an entire team in a moment and exploding all over everyone. Wait, no, not like that. She has all the tools you could want from a highly mobile disruptor, dodging in and out of interactions, causing mayhem like a drunk uncle bringing up everything you really don't want to talk about at your 3-year-old cousin's birthday party. When you play Bishop, all you can think is, what can I do to ruin this fucker's day? And her movement really leads to her having an extremely diverse way of fucking over other players. She has arguably the highest potential for making the coolest plays in the game. Now, let's stop teasing around the subject and get into her kit. Bishop's passive is Adrenaline Converter. Do not do passive first, it won't make sense before you talk about her other ability. Fuck. Bishop's primary fire is Ballistics. Bishop fires a medium-speed rocket that deals explosive damage. And now, I can talk about the first half of her passive. If she hits a direct shot with her rocket, her next rocket is empowered, dealing more damage and having a bigger explosion. If you've ever used any form of a rocket primary in a shooter, you will understand her primary. At least at a Starbucks coffee, Tame Impala is so unique, iPhones are peak communication device level basic understanding. See, knowing stuff like her shots being good against clusters of enemies, clearing camps well, and melting walls and vaults, yeah, of course it should. But what if I told you it's also a top-tier movement ability? Ooh, yeah. I can see you sitting up in your chairs, adjusting your covers in bed, or pausing your video on your reaction stream to comment. So one thing I neglected to mention was that Bishops and power shots have pushback. See, a little while ago, some dude named Newton came up with these laws. When you have a large force in some direction, something else has to be forced in the other way. So yes, if you jump and shoot, Bishops and powered shots give you a boost backwards. This leads to her being extremely good at kiting and can lead to some insane-ass movement tech, but then again, it's just her primary fire. It's her bread and butter simplest ability. Bishop's secondary ability is Detonation. Bishop throws down a satchel charge that explodes after 6 seconds, dealing non-insignificant damage, knocking back both enemies and Bishop herself. It can also be recast to explode early. Like a certain Black Scottish Cyclops, Bishop is adept with explosives, and her R&B has become arguably one of her biggest increases to skill mastery and depth. It could just be used as a quick lobbed explosive, but recent adjustments have really broadened its horizons and possibilities. Not only can it be used to bully enemies into a position that she wants for her other abilities, it can send her to a higher elevation. It can also be used to push herself forward at higher momentum momentum than she can get from her normal movement abilities. There are also a few other interactions with Satchel, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Bishop's mobility ability is Launch Boots. Bishop causes an explosion behind her, launching herself forward and upwards, knocking enemies back and dealing slight damage. She gets 2 charges of her little dash, unless you max it, each having their own cooldown. And now, I am legally able to talk about the second half of her passive. If you hit a direct shot with one of your rockets, you earn back some of the seconds you would have spent waiting on your dash to come back up. So yes, Bishop really benefits from you hitting your fucking shots! Bishop's dash is super consistent, and it really does a lot to make sure she's able to get into positions that she wants to. And the cooldown on hit really helps her keep those smelly ass enemies away from her. On top of that, it comes with some interesting interactions with her satchels. If you time your dash correctly with the explosion of the satchel, you get fucking sent. The burst movement from this interaction makes it damn near impossible to react to her engages. You can also use it to adjust your trajectory midair. Now, all those are cool, but I know why you're here. I know what you want to hear about, what ability makes you froth at the mouth, making your loins exceptionally taut, and probably the main reason you thought to play her, because, as the GOAT Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until a tall, muscular woman with a robot hand punches you in the face, ruining your facial structure, sending you into a wall, breaking the rest of your bones in your body. Bishop's utility, or Bishop's special, Bishop's E is Rocket to Punch! After a short windup, Bishop punches forward, knocking enemies back. Enemies that hit a wall, other enemies, your allies, mobs, Little Chef, or anything else that counts as a wall take significant amount of bonus damage. On top of that, Bishop gains a shield scaling with how many people she hits. It can also insta-kill wisps, but that's whatever. Here it is, the big ticket ability, the punch. Nothing, and I mean nothing, in this game feels as good as hitting a god-tier punch. It's a state of euphoria that is close to what I imagine falling in love is like. But anyway, when most people describe Bishop, the ability they always focus on is her punch, and for good reason. Its ability to control a fight, delete an enemy, or make her feel like a beefy frontliner is unmatched. I mean, just look at that. That damage. Look at them fall. Look at... Oh, and there's your downside. If you do miss a punch, you are extremely slowed for half a second. So, yes, Bishop's punch has end lag on width. With that, it does mean that the punch has arguably the biggest learning curve in her kit. Learning to use her other tools to get her into a good position for a punch or forcing the enemy into face punching position is paramount for getting good with her. But you really didn't think it ends there, no? Oh, we haven't even talked about what you can all punch. See, Bishop is a tree hugger, a big nature freak, wanting to save the forest and protect all that is green in the world, but nobody listens to her, so she decided to make them by punching trees at them, which I think may be a bit counteractive to her goals, but whatever, Queen, you do you. Even after all that, there's still more to talk about with her punch, specifically in relation to her satchel. Firstly, you can punch the satchel, sending it forward, exploding on the first target hit, dealing a buttload of extra damage and knocking them back. Also, in the future test, you'll be able to... No! You don't know about that yet. On top of being able to punch it into enemies, you can punch the enemies into it. It does count as a wall if you do this, and deals more damage than hitting them into a wall. So if you're good enough, you can always have a wall ready to punch suckers into. Unlike me. Bishop's ult is Blastoff. Bishop launches herself forward at high speed. She then stuns and deals damage to the first enemy hit, launching herself slightly into the air. She also does a little bit of damage to enemies around her target and pushes them away a tiny bit.
Boss, those are just kids. Don't hurt them.
Oh,
Who doesn't love ruining a gathering of friends with an off-screen interruption? Looking at earlier pieces of Bishop's kit, you could wonder how you were supposed to get into fights against little bitches. It's her ult. That's how you get in. With her ult, Bishop is the queen of the dynamic entry, coming in from across the fight to completely ruin a player's day. On top of that, the little hop you get after the contact is really useful to help you set up a good punch. And though the stun is longer the further she travels, it's still quite good to use at point blank range to quickly tell an enemy to shut the fuck up. So with all that, you may be asking, what's the optimal build for her? What should I max? What item should I take? I don't care. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't want to pigeonhole you into some fucking optimal OP win every match build. That's lame as fuck. Do whatever you find fun. If you want to go sustain and poke from range, nice. If you want to go full burst and go for a big punch, fucking sick. If you want to be a bruiser or tank and cause problems, I respect it. Hell, if you want to sandbag yourself and not take R&B until level 7, I mean, sure. You do you, King. But do what you want. Don't listen to meta builds or tier lists on what the man in the box says about your character. Fuck that shit. Fuck the meta. Fuck the optimal builds. Fuck the 24/7 internet spew of tier lists and optimization bullshit.
fuck American pride. Fuck the media. Fuck all of it.
Just do whatever makes you happier. Anyway, while I don't want to tell you about the optimal builds or any of that unimportant shit, I do want to share the powers that I think are the most fun with Bishop. Those being Money Tree, Hover Wings, and Bungee Gum. Money Tree. Why the fuck would you not pick up Money Tree? I mean, there is nothing funnier than getting a kill with a tree, and having a seemingly unlimited amount of spawnable trees means you can really fuck with the equilibrium of the ecosystem in the Skylands. Hoverwings. So, Hoverwings has an interesting tech that is extremely unique to Bishop, and it's really dumb how effective and game-changing it is, which is hilarious. If you use Hoverwings, then use either Bishop's movement or satchel on yourself, you get the powers of Icarus without your son of a bitch father giving you the bargain bin glue. It's perfect for getting into advantageous positions and being able to get some hype punches.
From downtown!
You can also use it to be your team's UAV, Bungee Gum.
Bungee gum contains the properties of both rubber and gum, you see.
While Bungee Gum is arguably a top-tier power for every hunter in the game, Bishop excels with it. Force your enemies into a position to get fucking decked by you. Force enemies closer together so you can get a good double punch. Or just stop them from running. You can also use Bungee Gum to kick it into
Maximum overdrive!
and hyper punch. And that's about it. Bishop in a nutshell. Jump in, punch the enemy in the face. Kite the enemy out, making it impossible to hit you until you punch them in the face. Go flying at the enemy team at light speed, then punch them in the face. Sit in a bush until a sucker gets close enough to you, then punch them in the face. You may be thinking, you just seem to only be punching people in the face. Yes. Does it get boring doing the same thing every fight? I mean, only if you do it in a boring way. Find ways to mix up your engages, new ways to get into a fight. Use your environment, use your items, improvise, adapt. Don't be fucking basic. That's it. We're done. Go home. Call your parents. Be productive. Take a shower. Please. Please take a shower. And stay tuned for next time, where we'll be going over a disease caused by a parasitic ringworm.